Oh, for me, just being that little black girl that grew up in San Diego and, having to deal with just being discriminated and feeling hopeless and helpless because you can't change that. If you change your hairdo or whatever, but you're black, you're black. And being a dark-skinned black at another level of discrimination. As a little girl, I had kind of promised myself that I said, one of these days, you are going to make enough money where none of these things will matter to you. But it bothered me. We were limited to the positions that you could even apply for, because even in, like, for instance, the the stores, the Bullocks, the Macy's, and those type of stores. It wasn't even Macy's back then, but Bullocks and May Company, whatever. Then there was no retail hires of African Americans, and the only ones that worked in the store had two positions open. If you were fair enough skinned, then you got an elevator job. You operated the elevator to the other floors. And then the dark skinned folk were usually behind the scenes, putting the tags on, ironing the stuff, maybe doing the windows, helping with the window dressings or whatever. But we didn't do any retail work. And so that pain throughout, my childhood and beyond, until now. But I don't have pains about it because I was determined, and I know that it can be done, and you make your own way. My mission was to be self-employed. That was at the core of my getting into the nightclub business. After I had acquired the club and before it became, a gay bar, it was just sawdust on the floor, a pool table in the middle, long old bar, and about 10 or 12 people, that most of them retired, that came and drank themselves into oblivion every day. That's what I inherited. And with no experience, I was not a bar person. And at that time, the state of California wouldn't allow women to tend bar unless they owned the club.
So your place was your idea that you were going to create a place that was open to
Everyone, guys, girls, black, white. Inequity and justice in general was a big deal with me, and I was always one to try to take up for the underdogs and those that were left out, because that was me. And they had black people believing that only white people were gay too.
What do you mean by that? Tell me what.
The ordinary black folks they didn't think that we were gays or lesbians because of the images, I guess, they saw, and the fact that we were further back in the closet than whites were. And then still sometimes, women wouldn't believe it. Not their husbands, not their fathers of their children, not their boyfriends that they'd been in love with since the 5th grade. The churches had a lot to do with that, too. And making us become more closet and stay in there longer. Oh, they were condemnation and, Sodom and Gomorrah, and that we were bound to go to hell. It was like about sex in general in my time. There wasn't a bunch of talk about any kind of sex, let alone gay and lesbian sex. Well, it took a lot of dying, and a lot of kids were outed. A lot of husbands were outed. A lot of boyfriends were outed. Now and again, you have a scandal in one of our churches, of homosexual behavior going on, and it seems like the congregations would accept kind of the ministers being a little flamboyant or whatever without adding it up to that they were gay guys too. And then you had the preachers, those same guys that were circling my club and coming in and picking up folk or sending somebody in to pick up somebody for them and that, and then going to preach their hate sermons on Sunday. So it would have been quite confusing, especially for the younger kids then. If the family suspected that they were gay, then they were asked to leave. Sometimes even as kids, 14, 15, 16 years old. Carl Bean, well, before he opened the church and that, he did Broadway shows and that he was a singer. He made a record that Lady Gaga had the same title, but it was a different record. I Was Born That Way. He was the first one that made I Was Born That Way. He was out here with a show, and then he ended up staying here and joining a conventional Pentecostal church, and eventually leaving that to start the movement, which was called Unity Fellowship of Christ Church, to walk into a situation where it was like God loves everybody, and followed up with scriptures that backed up that fact that we were just as loved as anybody else. And then the Minority AIDS Project opened a pantry too then, so we would have food baskets to give away. And then we fed the soul of those folks with the church services and that, and gave folks reason for living and knowing that they were loved, and that hell wasn't going to be the absolute thing for them just because they were gay or lesbian. I heard it on 2020 when they interviewed 6 white doctors, male doctors, and they asked them if they treated black folk differently than white, and every one of them said yes, which was something that I already knew. So the quality of care for our people was different then, still different now. And so you have more people that are being made sick via the sick care system too, and not being able to, and like I said, nutrition and being able to get even supplements and things like that might have helped were not available. And the only place generally that most of them could go would be to County General, because like I said, they didn't have jobs. Lots of them didn't have insurance. In the minority communities, they were not willing to give in to helping women then. So that created a vacuum for women. Rue is my spouse of 31 years now. We called it Rue's house. Yeah, she was the, as we would say, she would hate it if I called her that, but I attached it to, she was the shack mammy of Rue's house.
She was the what?
Shack mammy.
Shack mammy.
Yeah. Those were her kids and grandkids there, because she had kids. We had this one situation of the mother had it and the son had it. The boyfriend had infected both of them. The mother and the son. One of the children of one of the ladies that stayed with us at Rue's house came in as a baby, and she stayed until her mom got too sick to take care of her, and then her grandmother came, and then eventually her mom died. And her grandmother raised her. Her wish was just to stay alive until she graduated from high school. That's all she asked for. So at 17, she graduated from high school and died like 2 months after that.
What's the best way to remember the people that we lost to AIDS?
Big void, just a big void, and I don't know. It's like the civil rights and other issues. Once they get off the front page, people kind of become complacent with it. They don't even talk about it really anymore. And it's like a thing of the past. Practice safe sex, safe care, safe, and stick around because I miss my guys, boy.